interested to see. I'm not sure if I necessarily favor either one of them. The last thing I suppose I do want to talk about before we get straight into Dust2 is that Checkmate, you know, they have been beating a lot of these second-tier Chinese teams. They've been really going up against some of the best in Mongolia as well, whereas TYLOO, they've actually been losing. I mean, maybe that's a domestic matchup, but when they do lose maps, they lose maps domestically to these teams that Checkmate have shown the capacity to beat. So, you know, it's very, very hard when you get some inactivity to sort of measure how these two teams' form will be going into this match. But I suppose that is the closest thing that you can kind of do outside of looking at their last matchup against each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise. I think that most people will come into this one favoring TYLOO in a sense, but Checkmate might be able to take a map off of them today. I think for me, if they were to get a map tonight, Checkmate, that would be a really good result in my opinion, such as the strength of TYLOO. But let's wait and see. Let's just keep our eyes on the game as it does progress. We are, of course, into the pistol round here, and already not a shabby start from Checkmate. Good headshot onto Danking, pops him down low. He'll go scurrying back into the A bomb site. And we do have the skins shenanigans again, Pilsky. I think I saw a diving suit, a bathing suit, running around on the A bomb site just there.
Mid to B smoke. The Checkmate, they're not going to use it. Instead, it looks like a bit of explode up catwalk off the back of a flash, but they pulled some great rotations off of this A site.
Dan King watching and waiting for the moment with the USP in hand, but he can't be the only defender because he's very low indeed. And Bart also grabs himself a kill. It's a fantastic start for Checkmate. Somebody not going to be able to land too many shots there as he tries to retake into short. The flash will catch Bart, but he's able to drop off to safety for but a moment. Somebody and someone do chime back with a couple for TYLOO, but to be fair, that's not exactly going to help them out all that much. It's still a numbers advantage for Checkmate. They still need to work their way into this bomb site. The player at Goose has been found, but there's a double stack on the bomb site, and surely TYLOO does not expect that. Well done from Hasteker, and he'll finish things off quite nicely indeed for Checkmate. They get the pistol.
Yeah, it's a great start. Mid to B smoke really threw TYLOO off. They were quite committed to trying to hold that mid to B play. Players rotating off that A site straight in towards CT. And Dan King was the one mainly left over towards the ramp side there. But you saw him very early on take a little bit of a goosh. So nice stuff from Checkmate. Getting themselves off to a good start here. TYLOO are going to force up Dan King. A little bit of extra money to hold on to in case he wants to go for an AWP later on. TYLOO, in the meanwhile, they've taken this long control. They are contesting both of these extremities, slowly getting on the angle here over towards Upper Dark. And Checkmate, for the most part, doing the default dance that you'd expect. 1-3-1, flash over the top of lower tunnels. Going to try to start working middle and catwalk, I believe.
It's a little bit scary to be taking that kind of a fight against the Deagle. Somebody burns alive. He's wearing the swimsuit, Pilsy, but he's gone swimming in the wrong area.
Oh dear. Got himself in deep water there for sure. But that's just classic somebody, isn't it? Pushing through utility, trying to make something crazy work. Checkmate in the meanwhile, after getting that initial man advantage, starting to work towards catwalk. TYLOO takes uppers in response. So this round could still go the way of the CTs if they find some really nice timing here and if Checkmate really runs this clock down. But now they've started to kick off this execute.
Well, Summer is waiting with a Deagle in hand. He's going to get one before he is taken down, and it seems like the round will start to fall apart for TYLOO now. It really needed to be Summer and Attacker to be the ones to make the difference, and neither was able to pull the rabbit out the hat. It was, of course, a nice shot from Summer, but a little bit too much to ask for. Great start, though, for Checkmate. I mean, they're up to 2-0. They didn't lose too many guns in the anti-force. TYLOO's going to have to take another save here, so it will be a little while before we start to see TYLOO get on a roll here on the first half.
Saw a map the other night of Summer against NKT, and he was dropping like a 40 bomb on overpass or something.
Yeah.
So I would love to see some form like that out of the man today. But, you know, he had a little bit of extra cash. I was wondering if he was going to go in and save for a double more pretty early off the bat. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be the case. Just Danky with a bit of extra cash.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to be more of a farm round for Checkmate than anything else. Never mind. Slowly, the all reliable with the Deagle. There's a double kill for him, and he knows where the last couple of T's are coming from. It's not going to benefit him all that much. Peek through from Kulas will get him the round, and Checkmate up to 3. Definitely not the shabbiest of starts. I think you take that every day of the week if you're Checkmate. A little bit of a unfortunate couple of kills do come through for TYLOO at the end there, but overall, you've definitely upheld your end of the bargain on the T side. Now, though, it is time for TYLOO to show us what they've got immediately with Dan King onto the AWP. That is a man we hope to see some fireworks from.
Yeah, Cooler straight onto the AWP as well. That was always an interesting discussion for the Tiger team back in the day. Was they had Coolast, but they also had 9, and they were chucking that AWP around like a hot potato. You weren't really sure who was the primary AWPer, but what we did learn from that that's relevant to this match is that Coolast is a very proficient AWP player, and you're definitely going to need to be going up against someone like Dan King, who you haven't seen for a little while.
Any shenanigans at the start of this round. Dan
It's all
King is keeping an eye on short, though.
It's all about this contest for Catwalk and what timing Checkmate are going to go for that. Will Dan King find this opening pick, or will he be punished on this aggressive line? Oh no, Molotov's hit Dan King, so not going maybe as deep as they would have wanted. He's going to get another crack at this pick on the line. And as we expected, this man is not backing down. Feeling a little bit too pressured, so going to fall back towards that ramp side, and Checkmate have successfully taken Catwalk, but with 36 seconds on the clock, they've been flanked.
Yeah, this is very typical of TYLOO, isn't it? Summer just gets around behind and cleans up 3. You think about how easy that looked for Summer. One by one, they all go down, and TYLOO wins the round. It feels like it comes without a lot of fanfare there for TYLOO, but that was just so crisp.
Yep. Oh boy. No, those are the worrying signs, you know. If TYLOO are going to get into this kind of mood and they're going to go and disrupt the other team, that's where they do their best work. You've seen them head-to-head in the domestic matchup against Vici Gaming. It's all about aggression versus structure. And so far, Checkmate seem like they definitely do rely a little bit more on that structured gameplay. This round, quick Xbox smoke and all of the boys going in towards tunnels. So we might get a very quick play towards B.
Doesn't look like it. Smoke's going to go down from slowly. Bit of a progression across into mid from Checkmate as well. But they are still primarily hanging around toward the B-bomb site.
Has somebody been boosted up here? No, he's just sitting on the floor.
Quickly into the B-bomb site goes Checkmate. A decent answer from Summer and somebody. They need more though, and Summer is going to provide it. Maybe, just maybe, we're starting to see exactly what NKT had to deal with when they played against TYLOO a couple of days ago, because Summer is looking like he's got the goods tonight.
Absolutely. Not sure if there's been any role swap-ups or anything like that. Obviously, I think Summer was the main man doing the IGL duties. So if your IGL is showing some crisp aim like that and some individual skill to boot, then that's a worrying sign. Hard to say, though. TYLOO definitely a team prone to role swapping and changing things up, but 2 clean wins in a row mean that TYLOO, they're building up a little bit of cash and they force Checkmate on an eco. That is a lot of damage being tanked by the Molotov there from Checkmate. They commit really hard in there, really want to try to get on top of Summer here, but he's just not missing a beat, is he?
No, he's not missing a shot either. That's an... Oh, I thought it was an ace. Somebody stole the last one. I thought it was an ace. I mean, look, it was against pistols, but
it was against pistols, and they took like 60 damage of their HP in a Molotov before they even got to him, so I won't get too excited about that, but I think Summer at the moment, oh my god, this is the raw mechanical skill that makes TYLOO very scary. Aggression into lower from slowly. Seem aware of it, but Blitz, caught with flash in hand, slowly is just chucking his best Summer impression right now. Aggressing. TYLOO, you're seeing different players also trying to play off of him, somebody trying to provide some support from those middle doors, but at the moment it's not seeming like slowly needs any assistance at all. And Checkmate, it feels like they're trying to set up some default plays. They're trying to go through with their game plan, and TYLOO is just playing the disruption game, and this is exactly what they're known for.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate for Checkmate because they got off to such a good start, and now it kind of feels like we are back to more or less the expectation for this series. I was starting to have my interest peaked a little bit by Checkmate after the pistol and the subsequent couple of rounds, but now I'm sort of just like, oh well, you know, maybe TYLOO's just a little bit too good for Checkmate. Obviously, it's still early days, so we can't draw too many conclusions just yet.
I mean, we're here in the major qualifier. It is in TYLOO's best interest to beat Checkmate without having to show anything, essentially. If they can just run at Checkmate and beat them with individual skill, then that gives Vici less information. And the fake flash with the flashbang becoming more and more popular nowadays. Just dropping the flashbang at your opponent rather than actually using it.
Well, fall through the scoreline, Checkmate have kind of allowed TYLOO's economy to really balloon out. 12.5k for Danking, almost 10k for Attacker, and slowly also looking like they've got a fair chunk of change to play with. So Checkmate's going to find it very difficult to fight their way back into this half when they're constantly having to deal with full buys from the CT side.
It's interesting that they're going for the deco, seeing that lose popularity in this current patch a little bit, but they're still sticking to it here, Checkmate. So very much are relying on winning some individual duels, and it seems like the main approach is over here towards middle. Excellent crosshair placement out of Blitz is going to take somebody out of the equation, but that's not a gun they can retrieve deep in CT. They instead start to reroute themselves, focus their attention back towards Catwalk, where Danking is aggressing.
I don't know if I want to be aggressing at this point in time, but Danking certainly doesn't care at all. He's going to fall his way back into the side itself, but he does get punished for his transgressions, doesn't he? He just really wanted to try and take that fight, and it's kind of starting to fall apart a little bit here for TYLOO. Attacker is going to be flanked from behind, and it's just slowly just left alive. Disappointing round here from TYLOO, to be honest, but Checkmate might still find a way to lose it. There is that wrap coming in from short. It's going to take Blitz a while to get there, and in the meanwhile, Coolast is going to do the job himself. But what a disappointing round from TYLOO, you know, after all of that hard work, to lose like that, I don't know.
I mean, that's just peak TYLOO, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the classic. Win gun rounds effortlessly, and then just kind of capitulate against pistols due to a couple of pretty scuffed timings. Timeout here from Checkmate. That's obviously a pretty big boon to their economy and might help out with the confidence and the momentum. Can be pretty easy to let the wins fall out of your sails once TYLOO gets in with a couple of these rounds where, you know, it is pretty demoralizing in CS to just have one person from the other team just walk up and kill 3 or 4 of your teammates, you know. Doesn't even feel like you got to play that round. Doesn't feel like you got to play Counter-Strike or anything. You just got thrown into Aim Duel Simulator. But effectively, if you want to beat TYLOO, those are the conditions you have to deal with. So see if Checkmate has any adaptation going forward here. They're still in a decent position. 4-4 here. They're starting to crack down the money of the CT side. Mid push though. Again, it's disruption for TYLOO. It's pressure being applied straight from the get-go. And after all said and done, no one loses their life there. No one tries to dive through lower, which definitely would have been a mistake. It's a great thing about TYLOO is, you know, it's not one-dimensional aggression from these lads. They play off of each other very well. If someone's aggressing somewhere, then the other players know how to intuitively read the game and take the appropriate lines of play, I suppose, as well.
Once again, just that same sort of slower approach from Checkmate. Take a bit of control in upper dark and have some presence towards mid, a player watching the bedroom push. We're not going to get too much of that this time from TYLOO, though I think it is quite sensible to keep eyes on what might.
Well,
in fact,
here we go again.
Yeah, we might actually have just needed to wait a couple of seconds. Summer is going to take the peek. He'll get the headshot onto Bart, but there is no follow-up from Attacker. And he is left high and dry on the A bomb site right now. There is a hefty stack over toward B. This is going to be an interesting cross. Oh, that is a little bit greedy, I'll say, from Checkmate. to not use the smoke on the cross, and it does punish them for it. At least they get the bomb up on the short, but already TYLOO have brought it back to 3-on-3. Slowly he's going to find Bart in mid, and the bomb's not planted yet. With 19 seconds left on the clock, TYLOO can really just throw a fox among the henhouse. They already have done that. Slowly but surely making their way into the A bomb site. Somebody will drop. Attacker does manage to get the trade for that, and we're back to a 3-on-2. Slowly from short, grabbing himself one, and overall TYLOO from a disadvantageous position still managed to make it work.
They just delete the other team. Dear Lord. Checkmate, I mean, yeah, I was looking at Techno with the smoke, freely available to be throwing on the cross through mid doors there. They really couldn't afford to, what could have been a disastrous start to the round. They avoid that. They go and they take that catwalk control. They punish the long A push. And effectively, at that point, you do have to kind of misplay a little bit to give the other team an inroads back into the round. And I think that's kind of what it was. No smoke on the mid doors cross. They lose a pick going through there. TYLOO feels more safe about, especially with the clock going down, about aggressing on that A site and through mid as well. Nice shot from Coolast, dropping down in towards Suicide. Much more difficult shot to hit on the cross nowadays, but those that are still proficient with the AWP can make it work for themselves.
Every single time I look at the default from the T side, it's pretty much the same thing. Not that that's necessarily bad. Checkmate not changing it up too much so far on their T side. They're not trying to make anything too fast happen. They're not trying to push the extremities. They're not fighting for long. They're just prepared to set up default almost every single round. And in this instance, it costs them another life. Dan King finds another pick. And again, Checkmate will just work their way up short into the A bomb site. This is not an area of the map that TYLOO has contested all that much. And it seems they're more than happy to play for the retake.
The way they're going up catwalk there seems like they are well aware that TYLOO does not really want to contest this part of the map, especially after they've seen Dan King towards middle. No utility at all to cross to the site there, and they're going to get the bomb down for free, but still a two-man advantage for TYLOO, and they're going to start to storm straight up ramp.
Yeah, they're starting to make it look a little bit more difficult for Checkmate, aren't they, on this T side? There's Attacker and Summer combining for one apiece, leaving Hastika alone. This has already started for TYLOO, and that's 5 guns alive in a round that looks way too clean, like way too comfortable. Checkmate get the one plant down. They have a 4-on-5 post plant, but they don't find a single kill.
Checkmate definitely being outshot a little bit on an individual basis. If they can't step up in terms of the A duels, then this is going to be a very difficult series for them. It's very clear to me that the structure's there, that they have definitely got a decent feel for their opponents, that they seem to be contesting the right parts of the map in the right way. But at the end of the day, like I said, you got to win some of those aim duels. They're going towards the B side this time around.
Not a bad start for Checkmate. Just changing the pace up a little bit, getting fast into the B bomb site works out for them. Someone will fall off the line, maintain control of mid. And TYLOO can look for the 4-on-4 retake, but how infamous is the B bomb site retake on Dust2?
Molotov as well is in towards upper tunnels, so that's not going to be able to use to be delayed. Maybe it'll be used for an after plant kind of situation. TYLOO getting ready to complete this retake. They got plenty of util to do it.
Tom's going to go deep into the side. That's not going to flush anyone out. You've got a lot of players playing close right now for Checkmate and TYLOO. Well, they're going to have to pick the pace up. They barely have time. Someone's got to get on the defuse right now. And the round is already lost. I think that's pretty ambitious from TYLOO, to be honest. Dan King will find a sneaky one on the way out, but he will eventually die to the bomb as well. So definitely more costly for TYLOO than it is for Checkmate.
They do have money to play with, though. So if they're able to take a large majority of those guns out of the hands of Checkmate, usually it works the other way, where the T side can more easily replace their buy. But with the way that TYLOO's been winning these rounds so cleanly on the CT side, they actually have a lot of money to work with. So actually, economy-wise, if they're having Checkmate reduce their loss bonus by 1 and they take all their guns off of their hands, they're potentially putting the T's in reset territory. That's a great start from Dan King. Slowly is just disrupting them straight in the choke point. You are not getting out on that same timing towards the B site this time around. A Checkmate very early on. What is this? 25 seconds into the round, have lost over half their team.
It doesn't look like Cool and Techno are particularly keen on taking this challenge on, to be honest. 5-on-2 against TYLOO. I could think of things I'd rather be doing than that.
It's looking like a scary TYLOO, at least in terms of the individuals. I kind of had my questions. You know, TYLOO is a team full of great players, all of them individually skilled. All of them can show us some great stuff at times. That's a good pick from Cool Ass. Still 50 seconds to play with. But not being really given too many angles. Hold on, he spotted out some of there. Oh, Molotov's gone deep enough as well.
Well, someone gets off the line okay. 30 seconds left here, and Attacker just cleans up Techno.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have my questions about TYLOO after a period of inactivity. Can they still lean quite heavily on that individual skill? Are they going to be, you know, up to the task in terms of the mechanics after taking a little bit of a break? And at least so far here for IEM Fall, they're not really missing a beat, looking quite scary as ever.
So yeah.
Dead after time. Was it? Or it wasn't? I'm not sure. Cool Last has got 2,500, so perhaps not. That's what somebody was waiting for, but as soon as the scope swung around, he was getting a little bit nervous about not pulling the trigger there. That's what TYLOO do so well. Like I said, a lot of talented individuals. They play this disruptive, aggressive brand of Counter-Strike. No, it was after time. So Cool Loss must have had some extra cash, I guess.
Faster play from Checkmate, this time trying to get into the A site. They will actually manage to catch somebody out in no man's land. Attacker's shots not quite hitting the mark. He does manage to get the 1-for-1, but isn't enough to give the advantage back to TYLOO, and surely not again. Pilsy, surely not again.
Just give him Deagles. Give him nerfed Deagles.
I mean,
seems to be going better than the gun rounds.
Yeah, it does. That starts to get a bit egregious for TYLOO, I think. When you lose 2 rounds like this. Like, 1 I can accept, but 2... Think about what this half would look like had that not been the case. You know, had they been safe on the anti-egos.
Yeah, I suppose so. I don't think they're going to be too concerned about it, to be honest. So taking a few of the boys down, trying to make sure that he's able to take that AWP into the next round, perhaps, but he actually goes down to the bomb, so that's not going to be a consideration. Now A1S swinged across to the T side, rather. So got to be making sure these CTs are buying up head armor. I don't think somebody's going to be able to afford head armor here. If Summer goes down to a secondary AWP, he might not be able to afford head armor, but he's just gone for rifle. So surprisingly, we're not seeing TYLOO lean on the double AWP really at all on this CT side. And I suppose, well, I don't know, somebody's a viable double AWP category as well. Summer is, but he seems to be more so playing a bit of an anchor role. Seems like him and Slowly are the ones to kind of take those duties, at least on this map. Oh boy. Drops all the utility over and then says here, have my rifle too. That's, somebody's just such a generous guy.
What a nice guy. Well, he's still just holding posted. This has been a slower round from Checkmate. Looks like we're going to see a pop flash through here for somebody to just clear out short. Won't see too much. And subsequently puts down the smoke here as well to just get a bit more control. But Checkmate might be a bit more preoccupied on what they want to do toward the B bomb site, because that's what the smokes are going down for. Techno does catch somebody charging through the smoke, and that changes plans a little bit. Perhaps it was a bait all along, but it's on to Attacker now. He hits the first head, but can't get any more than that. And Danking also falling. Down to the 1-on-3 means that, well, chances are pretty slim that they're going to be able to win this round. TYLOO, it's been a nice fight back from Checkmate in the last few.
That's just broke their money. And that was an excellent read for Checkmate. They were waiting for that mid-round long A aggression. They had a player posted up in long heart that entire round. They throw mid to B smokes and throw a lot of utility. They're well aware that the flashbang players come into short for the info, and somebody obviously was playing in that smoke. And Checkmate the whole time, they throw that mid to B execute and they wait for that aggression either through long A or through short A, and they are rewarded for it. Not only just in terms of them picking up that gun round, but also forcing TYLOO onto this 2K buy, pistols and armor. They feel incentivized to push, and Checkmate are ready.
Bit of damage on a Techno. Need a little bit more though. Summer probably needs to find the heads with these kinds of shots. Attacker does manage to catch Hastiker. He's got himself an AK. Be trying to get that into the hands of Summer as soon as possible if I could.
Bard and Koulas have found that long control in the meanwhile though. Gonna start taking some very long range tools, but they can't lose the bomb in spawn, Jordan. No, that's gone horribly wrong for Checkmate.
Yeah, 5-7, a little bit too good, isn't it? Smoke's going to go down here for Koulas, but the full rotations come through for TYLOO. They're going to put all of their eggs into this basket. And why wouldn't you at this point? Somebody does drop, but bomb control is looking pretty decent here for TYLOO. It seems like Koulas might have actually swindled him. Do have Dan King watching through mid, and he'll get some tags onto Bart. That's going to provide enough of a distraction for Summer to roll around the corner with an MP9. Who needs the AK? He can get it done with the SMG. And the chances of winning the round now get a bit slimmer, and obviously with that as well, the half. TYLOO do manage to walk away with the win in the half, 8-7, but it's probably not by the margin that they would have been looking for, Pilski. So maybe Checkmate are going to make this a little bit closer than we had bargained for. Quite the interesting first half between TYLOO and Checkmate that we've just watched. It does result in TYLOO having the 1 round advantage at the end of the half. But, I mean, I look at that as a bit of a disappointing result, to be honest, for TYLOO, because they lost a couple of anti-ecos. And had that not been the case, we might have actually seen a very different looking half. So Checkmate have done well to keep it this close. And now obviously they have to uphold that end of the bargain on the CT side as well. This is a little bit cheeky from Blitz. I'm not sure that he'll get away with it against TYLOO, but it seems that maybe he will. Gets the head shell onto slowly, just crosses back onto short, and fades away into the distance. Coolast will be checked, but somebody's not going to be able to get the job done here, and neither is DanKing by the looks of things. So this pistol round starts off quite poorly for TYLOO, and they're going to have to really fight to get back into it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
what
good way
they're
to
doing,
do it.
though. Yeah, all the way through long, taking a lot of those duels, but both of these Checkmate players are still on the ace side here, and there's a lot of shots connecting in for Techno.
There is indeed, but so too for Summer, who will clutch the round out with a 3K for TYLOO. I'm sure Checkmate felt as though they were in with a chance there, but not to be this time.
That was a mess once again. Checkmate being given a lot of freebies. I mean, up on short A there. Good positioning from Blitz. Very, very cheeky peek from out behind the smoke, but even not clearing that right side corner out of long A. Lost one of the T's their life. After all said and done, though, TYLOO, they still get away with that round. Now, Checkmate going for this second round buy. All deagles and armor across the board. TYLOO, they're really respecting those second round buys. You can see no SMGs, all rifle armor, Galils and AKs. Pretty limited util. Only that one flash there, but that's where the rifles are going to have to get in there and make sure that they're taking those high percentage duels. TYLOO not rushing anything. Pretty standard looking default from them, actually. 1-3-1. Haven't gone for that catwalk control yet, though. Might even be sizing up a mid to B from the way they're posturing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind this from TYLOO going into the full rifle setup, just because they've already struggled a couple of times against the pistols. Need to have all that stopping power available. Not quite a mid to be this time for TYLOO. Up onto short now, and they have a full component of smokes to get them into this bomb site, but only the one flash.
Still some util here for the CTs. That's one of the flashes that they had on that A site burned. Still a smoke on the site here for Bart. Nicely timed HE nade for Blitz. That's a lot of damage, Jordan.
Very, very nicely timed indeed, Pilsy. You are correct. Blitz tried to salvage, he tried to make advantages happen off the back of those grenades. He wasn't able to. Now it's Coolast who's going to try and answer that call, but the bomb plan is going down as we speak. DanKing will try to provide a little bit of space for Summer to work with here, but just not really being able to do so. It's a 1-for-1 for Summer. Now it's actually down to the 1-on-1, and it's Techno that'll fall against DanKing, but an expensive round in the end there for TYLOO. Luckily, this is one where they will probably be able to farm a bit of that cash back up.
Yeah, they'll have to make it up in this round. And 3 MAC-10s. Are we going to make it to 4 MAC-10s in this round? This will have some consequences for their buys going forward as well. We'll probably have to see some kind of up-tempo Vega-esque kind of round in that next one if they're going to be keeping these MAC-10s over. And even in this round, it seems like a lot of players taking some early duels. Early control, slowly straight out long here. I was looking at the way TYLOO were posturing all towards upper tunnels, and I thought that a very, very quick B play might be on the cards, but I started to work back towards this catwalk.
Still looks like it's going to be a B play from TYLOO, and that kill onto Coolast might as well confirm it.
Oh, Hastecker. He thinks that TYLOO's going to throw utility at him.
I play anti-flash when you're playing against TYLOO.
Oh boy.
Well, 11-7. It's not a bad start to the half for TYLOO. Suppose it's fair, right? They did lose the pistol in the first half. They get to pick it up in the second.
I think that was an instant upgrade for Attacker there. He had back 10 and I don't think he went for very many grenades in that last round, and he just instantly ripped an AK in this round. So one MAC-10 will go down, but 2 of them will be kept over. So I guess the pass mark is 3 rifles in this case. You can see where attacker's going to be going, that he feels like he needs an AK. He's over towards Upper Dark at the moment. Checkmate setup that they're showing us really seems like they want to try to punish a pop flash play out of middle. The current setup that they have, they're also looking to hold that long control. So if this catwalk play comes out for TYLOO, there isn't really too much recourse. Blitz has a smoke and an HE nade that he can time quite well here. Ooh, slowly, actually respecting that smoke as it came out. Oh no, he's got a gap in it.
He's going to go straight through it. Looks for some inroads into the A bomb site, but that's not exactly the favorable duel for the MAC-10. So I don't know if that's going to be where TYLOO does end up heading.
It's looking to me like some variation of a mid to B. Progression smoke on catwalk here. Trying to incentivize Checkmate to rotate towards this A side of the map. But now TYLOO, 30 seconds on the clock, are going to kick off this mid to B push. Hastekar only has a flashbang. Techno, no utility at all. It's going to come down to some great shooting from these players on the B side of the map, because the rotates are very far away, and in fact one of them's already gone down.
Yeah, 20 seconds though for TYLOO. If they can't dispatch the B players, it's going to be problems. And I might as well have not even said that statement, because they just cleaned them up like they didn't even exist to begin with.
Deleted. Yeah, those MAC-10s, I mean, you could be upgrading to A1Ss, but if you're somebody, you are interested in going and killing the rest of the CTs if you can manage it. One A1S upgraded for slowly, and TYLOO, with the strong money that they're showing us here, not having lost any players, no real resistance from Checkmate towards that B site hit. You can see TYLOO already hungry for a bit of a hunt. They've set up this net, clearing out this A site. They're well aware that these CTs are probably towards long, and they're going to try and punish them. Both of those headshots hit, not a single gun taken over from Checkmate. And not only does TYLOO go up 12-7 on this T side, but they do it with incredibly strong money. And Checkmate, that's going to make their job all the harder in this game of Dust2 if they want to continue to contest.
Well, they also upgrade the MAC-10s into M4s as well. So you'll take that. You will definitely take that. Looking pretty damn good for the T side at the moment, though. Coolast. Oh, might have had an opportunity there. Won't be able to take a hold of it. You know, again, a sort of a slower start to the round from TYLOO. Just keeping their cards up their sleeve for now.
Looking quite comfortable, quite measured on this T side. No crazy rushes or anything like that. Just very defaulty kind of Counter-Strike. Oh. Opportunity missed by Blitz. Was a difficult shot to hit. TYLOO now. Utility pressure towards middle, just from slowly. Mid to B smoke and a pop flash out. And it seems like TYLOO... Are they going to go retake long A at this point in the round? Or is it catwalk control? I'm kind of wondering. It seems like catwalk control.
Azteca's loving that position behind the doors. Hasn't really been able to get too much done with it just yet. Coolast, oh, he's only got a scout. So that doesn't fill you with a huge amount of confidence.
There's 4 CTs over here, though, and TYLOO very much sizing up this catwalk execute.
Azteca will go down without too much fanfare, and now Attacker will turn his attention on to the rest of the players on the site. Danking, pretty serviceable with the AK. And he's showing us exactly why. This is starting to become quite the comprehensive T side from TYLOO.
Not really having any issues at all, to be honest. Entries are clean as hell from TYLOO, which is kind of what you'd expect out of a team of 5 players who can all entry frag pretty serviceably, to be fair. Again, we're seeing some great form out of Summer. He's on for the 30 here.
to go his way this time. Somebody will grab that one. But you're right, Pilski. He does seem to be having a nice purple patch, which is, you know, particularly impressive because, I mean, look, I don't know, but I still assume Summer is still in-game leading for TYLOO, so put that together as well.
Checkmate. Still some room to play with in this game. They go into a double AWP setup as well. TYLOO, Xbox smoke has missed. Actually saw Checkmate missing that Xbox smoke as well. Hasteka doing the jump up onto the Xbox. Wanted to try to peek over the top of it, but he's given that pick towards lower dark instead. No flashbang onto the line for TYLOO, which you do see them doing. I mean, they literally just did it. You've seen them doing it round in, round out on their default, but a hell of a round not to throw it. And actually, the other AWP comes into the equation as well. This double AWP setup for Checkmate seems to be the answer they've been looking for. But can it bring back them rounds all the way to 13 consecutively is what I'm wondering. Because usually after the first time you see the double AWP, you start to play around it a little bit more. And that's where TYLOO, I'd be expecting them to change things up in the next gun round. Although, wouldn't be outside the realms of possibility for TYLOO to turn around a 3-on-5 with some good shooting.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't count this round out just yet. Do have TYLOO working their way up short. Seems Checkmate has a pretty good idea of where they might be because that grenade is going to be perfectly timed. Holy cow! That has done so much damage. Somewhere down to 45. He's got full armor as well. Remember that. Blitz and Coolast are going to say thank you very much for the assist. And that is a pretty straightforward round in the end for Checkmate. But we have to wait and see what adaptation TYLOO's going to make now that they know the double AWP is in play.
Danking straight onto the AWP. TYLOO with a pretty good B spawn. But we'll see what they're going to be going for. Very quick, long A smoke out of somebody. He's also following it up with some util pressure, but he's not going to be able to take long there. There just wasn't the bodies over there. What he has drawn out of Checkmate is a lot of utility. Double molly, HE nade, a smoke, some flashes to retake as well. And in the meanwhile, TYLOO have traded basically one util set for maybe 1.5, I would say, or maybe even 2. And those high priority utils of the HE, of the Molotovs rather, can be very useful in the mid to late round. In the meanwhile, TYLOO taking this cat control. Still very split up though. Just slowly over there.
Patience seems to be the play at the moment for TYLOO. They've been spotted on short, and Hasteka just catches the backer slowly.
Oh, the double AWP's just doing work for Checkmate right now. And TYLOO, they've been very measured. Oh, you could have sworn that should have connected there.
How about that one?
Yeah, I mean, Attacker's just asking for it at that point, isn't he?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Well, needs to lock down long, though. Again, we said last round, 3-on-5 can still go the way of TYLOO, but caught with an 8 in hand, and somebody looking to make the difference this time for TYLOO, but even then, the push in from Summer on short has to be pretty good because he's the one carrying the bomb. If he drops here, it's done. So this is going to have to be perfectly timed, perfectly played from TYLOO. Danking already down. Summer trying to win his duel. Somebody did win his duel, but not Summer. And not overall for TYLOO. 13-9. Checkmate get one step closer.
Jordan.
Yes, sir.
We don't get to cast TYLOO very often, so look, I'm only going to do it once. Who won his duel?
Don't even ask me that ever again.
Oh, I missed this. I missed it. Alrighty, well, TYLOO, another round where they dropped 2 picks off the bat to the double AWPs. They have very much been quite measured on this seaside, to be fair. No real pace changes at all. It seems like the name of the game is very slow default, methodical gameplay out of TYLOO. Often just waiting until like 1 minute 10 to 50 seconds just to even take basic map control. And it has not been working against the double AWP setup, which Doesn't take a genius to know that double AWP pretty good against a slow play style. Great spam through from Blitz. Almost takes slowly out of the equation as well. TYLOO having a very tough time working their way through the map in the mid round at the moment.
I'm honestly a little bit surprised that they haven't defaulted back to something really fast and just tried to overwhelm Checkmate. But, you know, obviously there's a lot of time to come in this map potentially, so I'm sure we'll get it.
Following onto Catwalk. Just delaying a little longer. Still some key pieces of util here for Checkmate. Once again, they've set up that additional rifler towards the A side of the map. To be able to play from Goose off the back of the, I would say AWPer, but it's actually a double rifle setup over here. And we do see Cool Last over towards Long A, which, you know, I've seen a lot of AWPers just set, a lot of teams set up their AWPers on the extremities. TYLOO, though, 25 seconds on the clock, going to go once again for some kind of a catwalk exec.
Again, a really nice grenade. They've been super on point from Checkmate so far today. Somebody cops a lot of damage through that smoke, and Summer drops as he tries to make the entries happen. But with a big spray down, will grab himself one before falling. Blitz not overwhelmed. And the B site, I mean, they don't even have to do anything about this. They come rotating across, but the A defense is just way too strong. Checkmate puts another one on the board, and, well, they'll be made to rebuy another gun courtesy of somebody, but certainly a good time for a attack timeout, I'd say, for TYLOO, because this is starting to get a little bit out of hand.
I mean, I'm just struggling to see what TYLOO's going for. Like, they had a great start to this half, but they haven't had any pace changes or any adaptation to the double AWP after, you know, these last couple of rounds. It just hasn't been going well, hasn't been working for them at all. Which, you know, to see a team like TYLOO play almost painfully slowly is, you know, it's an interesting one. Kind of wondering if maybe they're trying to practice a few things in this matchup, perhaps. I mean, I don't think that would be too wise when you're talking about a major qualification on the
Yeah,
line.
that's
But
true.
I think TYLOO, they definitely have another gear that we haven't really seen them hit on this T side. I'm just waiting for them to kind of unleash and let things loose a little, because I feel like that would definitely be the answer to what we're seeing from Checkmate right now.
I think it might even come in around like this, and perhaps we would be proven correct. The Tech-9 of Dan King just not quite able to round the corner and catch up to the AWP. But TYLOO definitely pressuring a lot earlier in this round than they have been in previous, and it's starting to draw rotations in toward mid. Checkmate just having a little bit of a look. Bart's going to work his way into bedroom, and that is potentially his undoing, but he still manages to find a couple. Somebody got Techno, but overall, Bart, I don't know how he's actually managed to survive there on 8 HP, but he has done so. So it doesn't look like it's going to be an overly costly round for Checkmate. Another nice flash there from Bart. Sets Coolest on the line, and 13-11, it's the score now.
And slowly, a little bit lower on cash than everybody else after having saved a few rounds back, I believe. Unless I'm losing my mind a little bit. Checkmate, money's looking great. I rated 8 out of 8. Still on those double AWPs, still full util. Feeling great about how this game's going, no doubt. Okay, TYLOO, we've had a tactical pause. We've been getting absolutely destroyed by this double AWP and HE grenades. And again, the HE connects, and the AWP shot does as well. A lot of damage and a first pick going the way of Checkmate. But it has been traded back at least. Much quicker catwalk control out of TYLOO, but they've lost one, and I would say almost 3 other players making their way to this point in the round. I'm not sure if that's necessarily been worth it. Remains to be seen as we head towards a more accelerated mid to late round here after how the round has started, and they start to walk back towards this B site.
What's Techno holding on to? Just a smoke here, surely. Waiting to see if the push is going to come through from TYLOO, and he's going to get confirmation eventually. Well, there's the flash. Does lose a little bit of HP, but he jumps back up on top of the boxes and eventually will be traded down by Summer, but that is not clean enough from TYLOO. Attacker, he's going to have to win some absolutely ludicrous aim duels. And of course he can't do it, so 13-12, and now again, Checkmate. Get one more. Now they're only 1 round behind. This has been a very nice comeback on the CT side. It's certainly not done just yet. We could well find ourselves in a situation similar to last night where Vici just got it over the line against NKT on overpass, but you have to give credit where it's due. Checkmate are making TYLOO work for this.
Yeah. And I think that is kind of what Checkmate embodies as a squad. You know, you've got a couple of like the leftovers from some other Mongolian teams, but this is a team that has practiced hard, has exceeded expectations at every turn. And the great thing about them is they're not pushovers, even against the best in the region or some of the best in the region. TYLOO is going to have to beat them in this game. They're not going to let this one go, even if the first half hasn't gone so well, even if you get some massive plays out of the TYLOO lads. And I think in general, that's what I love about these Mongolian teams is they play with a lot of heart. They don't just give up after not the ideal start to the game. Once again, we're seeing that tenacity out of Checkmate. It's got them into a pretty solid position now, almost evening up the round count of TYLOO. Good flash onto the line. It is one of these half buys here from TYLOO. Oh.
This would not be the round you'd want to drop if you Checkmate. These are the kinds of rounds that really troubled TYLOO, though. Can I go back to that and say, well, if it wasn't for a couple of rounds that TYLOO lost to the Ecos in that first half, maybe they wouldn't even be in this position. Maybe the map would already be over. Now, they really do have to dig deep and find a way to get this one over the line, lest Checkmate cause an upset in the first map of the series. Smokes galore right now for both teams. But TYLOO's going to go through him. Blitz. He was playing anti-flash, so he does deal with it pretty comfortably. Gets himself a double before being traded down. That's more than acceptable. Coolest. Not able to hit his shot, though. Does bring it back to the 3-on-3. And now it starts to get a little bit worrisome for Checkmate. Particularly if Bart drops, which he shouldn't. Not against Danking, who's on 4 HP, nor against Summer on 2. Pulls the Deagle out and takes the challenge against Attacker. He does not want to stop fighting right now. Attacker is the one that can make the difference in this round. Khalil in hand, he's won it. 3 kills. And that's as easy as it gets for him. And unfortunately for Checkmate, just at the 11th hour, when things are really starting to look good, it falls apart and TYLOO get the elusive round.
Yeah, Attacker once again showing us what he's famous for. Just that raw, mechanical, snappy aim. Even making a weapon like the Galil look so dangerous. I remember playing on a team with PZ Kid, the Malaysian player, and asking him who's the sharpest player you've ever played against, and he said Attacker. You play against him in pugs and you just get deleted.
Yeah.
And when this man's on one, like, Jesus, his rifle aim, it's just insane. Well, Checkmate now. They take attack pause. That was obviously not a round that they wanted to lose. He was saying it. This would be a hell of a round to lose, but they found a way to do it, unfortunately. That's going to take a toll on their economy. Really scraping the bottom of the banks together. It has not been cheap for Checkmate to put these double orbs together. Coolast not going to buy full utility, though. He's keeping $1,600 in the bank account, which, heading it towards this part in the game, is an interesting decision to make. You're backing Checkmate to keep clawing these rounds back, and I guess he's just keeping that extra money as an insurance policy to make sure he can buy another AWP if it comes down to a close round or an XVX. But the flip side of that equation is if Checkmate just loses this round, then you almost would have wished for some better utility, and maybe he'll just hero rifle in the next. TYLOO again. Very slow round. Seemed like they were kind of anticipating some aggression into lower. Being very, very methodical about clearing that out. But now as we head towards the minute mark, they're going to start to contest Catwalk where Checkmate is set up.
But very close on the angle. Does TYLOO have a flash? It looks like they do. It's going to catch him as well. And Summer, what a spray control onto Hastika as well. Gets the 2-for-1 entry. TYLOO, they read it like a book. And slow things down as a result. They're just prepared to wait it out. They've got that 3-on-4. And let Checkmate sizzle a little bit under the pressure.
Mid to B smoke's coming out. It's got to be Coolast to hold strong. Seems to be connecting. He wants to hold on to this side, though. He's not playing retake from upper. He just pushes into heat, and this guy's a madman. But
No
he's just
way.
hitting everything.
I actually thought he was going to get that last one onto Summer as well. Luckily for TYLOO, that's not the case, but I'm not sure that Summer has the time to get the bomb plant down here, and Coolast does enough to keep Checkmate in the game. That looked like around dead to rights for TYLOO, but they can't delete the AWP. They can't get rid of him.
Dude, that's almost kind of like the psycho kind of play you'd see out of TYLOO. Like
Yeah.
any AWPer on that angle would just be like, all right, sweet, I got the pick on the doors cross. Now I'm just going to fall back into tunnel, maybe pick up the line towards window or something like that. Maybe he was really scared about the wrap from upper tunnel, I suppose. That might be the explanation for that line of play, but the man just dives into the site, into heat, and then does that.
Can't believe it. Well, now it starts to get a little bit more close for comfort for TYLOO again. They've got guns, they've got some util, but not a lot.
Yeah, they've burnt a lot of it, taking that long control. Hastek has not got a silencer on his M4. Okay. Chad move at 14-13, I guess.
Well,
okay. Let's just keep that on next time. Maybe, especially in an, this is
a
just
long range battle
IEM
like
Fall.
that. Yeah. Bart's hiding in the smoke. And Summer's waiting for the rotation to come through. TYLOO still have a decent amount of time, but Summer, yeah, he's on for one here. Gets the 3 beyond to Bart. The rest of the progression is going nicely enough for TYLOO, but kills do come through for the CT side, and now Blitz will hold strong on A. These Mongolian lads are pretty sharp, I tell you that much at least. And now Attacker tasked with the 1-on-2. Wow, talk about sharp. There's another example of it. He's going to get the bomb plant down here, but will he get back up in time? Will he survive? Will he spot the play? What is that?
I'm telling you, man, it's just raw mechanics from Attacker. Oh god,
That
the
might
aim
be
with the rifles sometimes. The thing is that this guy, he at least he used to. I don't know if he still does, but he even has like mouse excel.
That's
So
the
like,
filthiest shot.
and he's got a really good feel for it. So like, that's
I've
where
never seen that
no other player's aim looks like that. But Attacker, that's like a perfect example of someone who uses mouse excel correctly, I suppose. Oh, very, very quick play in towards long from both teams. Checkmate just throwing everything into this fight, but they're all dropping.
Well, I thought Techno might be on for a defense there, but in the end, it's a very quick round. It just disappears before your eyes.